Good morning. I'm late because someone decided that she was going to wake up at 10 o'clock this morning, like literally right now. And so now she's like, let's go outside. Let's do some playing. And I was like, no, that's not happening. I got places to be. How was everyone's Thanksgivings? Were they good? Did you have a nice time with your family? Okay, so today we're going to do these little stepping stones. There's only 4, like, and a half, and a bit, if you count that part. And we're going to do the padded satin stitch. I really like the padded satin stitch for little stepping stones because it, like, humps up off the hoop. Jessie wants back in now, of course. Oh. Come on in then. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing that I did for the Cosy cottage, which is to do them like this. So they're more humped up off of the hoop. Yeah, so we're going to do an under. She's just jumped up on the counter with her little paws like this on the edge to try and see if she can find some treats. And someone just said, how was your pumpkin pies? They were good, actually. They were a little bit misshapen, but they were good. Okay, so the whole idea with this is that you need to do an understitching first and then stitch on top of that afterwards. Now, the amount of strands that you use for the understitching is going to affect how padded it is. So I'm going to go for straight 6 strands, make it really nice and padded, and then I'll probably do 2 strands of each of these mixed together to make 4 strands to go across. Now, it's up to you. Let me get my pen because I cleaned the table off and everything. So it's up to you if you want to have the top stitching be horizontal like this, or if you want it to be vertical like this. So if you want to have your stitches go straight like that, your top stitches, then you need to do your under stitches the other way. So it makes almost like a cross. Yeah. If you want to have your top stitches this way, like that, she's all jazzed up. Oh my God. Then you need to do your understitching the other way. Does that make sense? So you're swapping. So choose now if you want to have them go straight out like this, or if you want to have them sideways like this. There's pros and cons to both. If you're going to do the understitching, yeah, down like this for this one, which means your overstitching will be horizontal. Are you with me? You can use little detached chain stitches all the way down. Okay? If you're going to have your stitching on the top look like this, straight down, so it kind of looks like the walkway is like coming out this way, you know? Then the understitching has to be a chain stitch like this, and you'll do it straight across, okay? Obviously, you can alternate both, meaning you could do one horizontal, one vertical, one horizontal, one vertical. That's up to you, whatever you would like to do. Let me see what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do the chain stitches, detached chain stitches down so I can have a horizontal little stepping stone. Okay? I hope this is all making sense. I'm going to go ahead and put the darkest brown, all 6 strands on my needle, and then we can get started. Oh, I was like, but where's my needle? I'm losing it. Losing it. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna do my chain stitches here. They're just gonna be detached chain stitches. And again, this is all 6 strands because I want them to be quite padded. And these don't have to be like neat and tidy in any kind of way inside here. I'm just gonna make them so they're next to each other. You can alternate if you want. And you can also do the fill stitches in other stitches as well. I know some people use seed stitch for the fill, and they seem to really like that. Seed stitch is just where you go like this. Tiny little stitches, no real direction or anything. They just fill like that. Some people will do like this, but I quite like the chain stitch because it makes it real poofy, you know, padded. So I'm just doing the under stitches for my padded chain stitch. I feel like that's a little bit high, but that will be fine. You want to try and keep these inside your square, rectangle shape. And really, it's not the end of the world if you do them the same way. So if you get this done and you're like, actually, I changed my mind, don't take it all out. It's totally fine. You'll just go over it. It's just that when you have the stitches that are going vertically like this, and then you also lay stitches on top of that are also going vertically, you'll have more chance that your stitches will fall into the gaps here. So that's why you put it across this way for the top. Yeah, does that make sense? I sure do hope so. All right, so the other thing is that because these are spaced out like this, the steps, so there's supposed to be 5 steps, but only this one is peeking out. So if you don't want to do that one, you don't have to. But because these are all spaced out like this, I would not jump from step to step to step. I would definitely do a little knot on the back. That way you don't have that thread that's connecting each of the steps together, because sometimes with dark colors, you can see it through the back. And the last thing I'm going to say about the understitching before we get started is definitely use one of the colors or the color that you're going to use for the steps. So if you used like a white and then you put the dark brown over top of it, if you don't cover it completely, you're going to see peaks of white through that. And you don't want that. So we're going to cover it completely. But also we're going to use the same color or one of the same colors that we're actually going to use for the top stitching. So I'm going to take 2 colors, 2 strands of each color. You could do more if you wanted, but I'm going to do it like this because I think it's going to give me more stripes. So let's see how this looks. So I'm putting them together. I need to do my nails today, like really bad. I didn't have any time to do it yesterday. So there you go. Now these ones are just going to be satin stitches like we've done before, completely horizontal. You don't have to outline or anything like that. All we're doing is making sure we keep the edges nice and straight because they're meant to be rectangles. If you want to make them curved, you can make them curved too. If you're like, oh, this is not working out for me, then just make them a little bit curved on the edges. They don't have to be tight, like boom, 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 rectangles, you know? I'm going to do like I always do, which is go to the middle first. Yeah, and then you can do up on one side, down on the other, or you can do the cheat, the thread saver method. Oh, it's going to look so good. I can already tell. I probably should have done gray for this to keep it like with the snowy theme, you know? That would have looked so good. Oh, I'm kicking myself. Oh, well. I'm just going to do one more here. That's kind of poking through. And poke this right back down through as well. So I can get that edge covered. Let's come down here and do the bottom part. Ooh. So we're covering up all of those stitches. And then just like at the top, I'm going to do one more that's just kind of like sealing that off to make sure. Because they are padded. Yeah? So let me zoom out and I'll kind of make it go sideways so you can see what it looks like. And if we like it or not. So it's very much off. I quite like it, but I still think I should have done like a gray, like a dark gray and a light gray, because it would have made it look like stones like in the snow, you know? But I don't hate it. So there you go. That's what we're doing today. What do we think? Happy days? We like it? We don't like it? I know some people aren't really a fan because it does take more time because you have to do the under stitching and the actual stitching on the top. So for some people, this is not their favorite. But I think it's quite fun. It gives a different look, you know? And if you want to, if you have white fabric, you can pretend that all around there is snow. And this is the only part that's peeking through. Patty says, it matches the chimney. That's exciting. Could be wooden steps, that's true. I'm going back to the whole, you know, make a story up to fix whatever you want to fix. So obviously these are wooden steps because they're brown, you know? And then this weekend, if you need to catch up on anything, then this will be a great weekend to do that. Next week, we're going to get started on the house. I have an idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I didn't really want to use the same stitch as the Cozy Cottage, but then if I did, it would be matching, you know? So if you put them next to each other, it'd be like, oh, one's in the spring and one's in the, you know, but I kind of want to do something different. So we'll see if the idea works. If not, again. I just hate using like satin stitch over and over and over, you know? Saying that, the Cozy Cottage is a kind of satin stitch. It just has a little detail in it, but it makes it look like a wooden, have you guys seen it? It makes it look like a little like wooden house. It's cute. I'll show it. So this was the Cozy Cottage. I'm gonna use the Bayou stitch for the middle, which is really, really nice. It is really fun stitching it, Mel. So like I said, I feel like I really want to do it because there's lots of new people who haven't done that one. So that would be really fun to be able to teach it again. But also, it's fun to teach new stitches, you know? So maybe I'll come up with like maybe I'll do that, and then I'll come up with like an alternative, like, oh, if you don't want to do this one, you can always do this other one. Yes, it's really cute. I was thinking of doing that next. That's a really fun stitch along. There's a lot of satin stitch in this one though, I will say. And it just happened to be, you know, how that's the way the cookie crumbles, you know, that's just happened to work out that way. But I will say it's like satin stitch doing like a faux ombre for the leaves. Then there's the pointed satin stitch, and then there's one with mixing colors, and then there's one with less strands and more strands. So I feel like people get a little bit like, oh, satin stitch, but like there's so much that you can do with it. Instead of just doing the same 6 strands, boom, 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 you know? You can really make it interesting. Also, I always make little like table settings for Thanksgiving, and I used wood stain last night, so I have like wood stain all underneath my fingernails and like on my hands because I could not like wash it off all the way. So there's like little black or brown speckles. Do I need one just right there? Not very much space between them, but that's okay. So there we go. That's all we're doing today. So you've got the whole weekend to catch up. Like I said, we're starting the house next week. The wreath will probably go around the circle. So, you know, stitching to here and then to here and then to here so that you don't have to go around it. But I'm excited for that. That's going to be fun. Windows and doors and everything. This is also a chance that if you have some wonky lines like this, we can sort those out before we get started. Ooh, Stephanie said, what color are you doing for your house? I don't know. I'm really nervous to pick a color because I really wanted to do like a mint green, but I've also already done it there. Will you show us the random small stitch version too? It's literally the exact same thing. You just do small little seed stitches and then go over with whichever way you want to do it. It's exactly the same. It probably won't be as humped up, but the understitch is just the understitch. So it really doesn't matter what stitch you could do. You could even do satin stitch one way and then do it again the other way. Yeah, it's just literally whatever you want to do. I'm also a sucker for the cream color that I used here, which is just the Ecru. It's called Ecru, E-C-R-U. And I found the house I did before that was it's like a grayish blue color. And I love this one too. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. I think maybe I'll do something similar, but there's just so many colors. Like, there's so many colors. So I kind of feel like, let's see. This is kind of like a shorter video today anyways. Do like a light yellow. Like, I'm trying to think of like house colors, but also like it can be anything, you know? It's like your own, like you're making it up. So like a peach, a brighter yellow. This is normally how I pick my colors, but make sure that you have quite a bit of it. So I'm not sure that I would use any of the ones that I've picked out just because there isn't very much. So you probably want to pick something that's got a full skein to it so that there's a lot more that you can use. I was thinking red, but I haven't decided yet. Hannah says in Germany we have a lot of yellow houses. Our lake house is yellow. Our house by the lake. It's like a grayish purple. Lots of people are going with, here's like a dark blue. Lots of people are going with red, I think. But it's such like an iconic look, isn't it? To have like a red house, like surrounded by all the green. It's very Christmassy. Yeah, the blue is really nice. Let me see if I've got a nice red. I've got like a rusty red. That might be quite pretty. This is 3777. So it's like a bit darker than like a regular bright red. So that would be like a bright red. Pink. There's so many colors. I quite like this one. And I like the dark blue as well. The dark colors are really hard to film. So I'm always thinking about that when... Let's see if there's any pinks that look nice. Let's put that aside. The red is my favorite though. Like, I just like these lighter colors. Also think that we're gonna have a wreath on the top. You need to pick a color for your door, and then for the molding around. Light pink. It's like a creamy pink. I think y'all get it. I could just do this all day, honestly. So pick a color that you know that you're going to be able to do the wreath on. You can also just omit the wreath if you're not keen. The roof is going to be a different color as well. So you could do the molding around here and the top of the house the same color. Ooh, Sarah Loves Sewing says, I'm thinking the ecru color, which is this this one with red windows. That would be really pretty. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop now because I feel like I'm just wasting all of your time looking at all these colors. But in the end, whatever color you pick is fine. Like, it's completely fine. But there are some things to consider. Like I said, the roof, what color is your roof gonna be? Is it gonna be like a snowy roof? In that case, you could do just white or an off-white, like blanc. If you wanna match your door and your casings around the same. These here are probably just gonna be black, the little railings, but you could also do like, use the same color as your stones to kind of like match a little bit. We've got the porch to do. So we'll do the porch and then stitch these on top. So there's still a lot of stitching to do and a lot of colors to pick, but just have a think. What you can always do is print out a copy, color it in. And then you can see, do you like it? Do you not like it? You can take a picture of your actual hoop that you've already done with all the colors that you've already chosen and then color it in. So you actually see what the colors look like together, because sometimes when you pick a color to color it in, it's not quite the same. So maybe it looked good in the drawing, but then when you actually pick the right color, you're like, oh, that doesn't look nice. So you can think about that too. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. I hope you enjoyed your week stitching. If you're like me, you're really behind. But don't worry, because it will all get finished in due time. So don't stress out. Don't think, oh, I really have to get this done before Monday. You don't, really. If you don't get it done, then you don't get it done. It's totally fine. Totally fine. That's a signature me thing. So I hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget, there's the Etsy market. I'm going to have a little sale on patterns and stitch-alongs. And I'm also going to have a sale on my first ever embroidery kit that I've ever made. It's the mason jar one. So if you were looking at getting a embroidery kit, that's a great one to start with. And they're going to be on sale this week for just this weekend with free UK shipping. So it's probably going to be the very last time I do a sale for a long, long time. So if you're interested in any more patterns, stitch-alongs, or that specific kit, yeah, hit me up. So have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and tag me. Like each other's and comment on each other's and tag me. I'll talk with you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye.